Hi, welcome to your core class of yoga today. Throughout today's class, we're going to be doing a lot of different core exercises, some slow, some isometric, some fast-paced and ballistic. If at any point you need to take a rest, go ahead and do so, and then join us when you're ready. Enjoy the class and grab your block and a strap just in case you need them. Start on your backs, nice and comfortable, laying down flat. Reach the toes out, tuck the shoulder blades, and find a comfortable but active spot in our Supta Tadasana, our lying Tadasana pose. Activate the toes up to the ceiling. Hands can be palms down by the side. And before we begin the class, we'll talk about our core. And what is our core? Our core consists of multiple muscles that range from below the diaphragm, mostly, to the bottom of the hips, the pelvic girdle. They include the outer abdominal muscles, the internal muscles that lay deeper, like our transverse abdominis, muscles around the spine. We have our outer obliques. In the back, we have our erectors close to the spine. We have other muscles like our QL, our quadratus lumborum, which connects from the hip, the spine, and the lower ribs. So we have multiple layers throughout the belly, the sides region. We also want to think about the front of the hips, the hip flexor type of muscles, the psoas that run from the spine to the hips, the top of the femurs. They help pull the legs up and control the pelvic floor. We have all the muscles in the bottom of the pelvis, the pelvic floor. The hip flexors combine with those, as well as the other deep hip muscles that move the leg around, rotate, that are controlled with the lower abdominals as well. Our glutes also play a part in our core, and all of these areas will be activated today. So when we mention our core, use your core, activate your core in yoga, we're talking about this whole entire region, not just the outer abdominals, but think about making a belt and pulling that belt in towards the spine to protect the lumbar area, which is your lower back. Your glutes and your adductors, which are the muscles on the inside of the thighs, help with knee stabilization. And the pelvic floor is used with both low activation in the body, the lower body, and the higher activation with the torso and up. So this region is very important. This region is tied to the Mula Bandha. This is a lock, an energy lock in the body that's located in the perineum area. And this is an area that helps tighten and lock and keep the energy flowing in the belly and getting to where it needs to go. We'll talk about the Mula Bandha and reference it as we move throughout our core today. And we'll reference our pelvic floor as well as our core in general. Continue to lay down nice and deep. And now place both hands on the belly. And we'll go 5 rounds of our big belly breath. This is a calming breath. And we're working on filling the bottom of the lungs. Think about the balloon is filling in your belly. Inhale. Blow the balloon up, pushing the belly up, using that diaphragm and down the abdominal muscles. Exhale, control, and slowly let the balloon deflate. You can imagine your balloon any color as you inflate it nice and big. As big as you can make that belly. Use the core strength. Exhale, nice and slow. 3 more rounds. Using the strength in the core, opening up the belly. Exhale, slowly deflate. 2 more. Nice and big. You can breathe in and out through the nose. After this 5th round, come back to center, nice and easy. Continuing to lie down, we're going to think about our pelvis area and our lower back. Place hands on the mat, bend both knees, Knees are over ankles, feet are down to the mat. For pelvic tilts, we're going to work on the anterior, which is tilting our hips back, or the top part of our hips back and the bottom part forward. Posterior, where the top part of our pelvis goes forward and the back side turns up. So first, working on the flat knee. Think about pulling the belly button down to the spine first. The pubic bone follows the belly button and the tailbone follows the pubic bone. And I'm using the internal muscles to control this region. Try to relax the thighs a little bit. Try to relax the neck, the shoulder, the chest. Only let the core muscles down in this lower region do the work. Now switching to posterior. Arch the lower back by tucking the tailbone underneath. Pubic bone follows the tailbone. We lift the belly using those back muscles. If you reach underneath, you might find a little rainbow or an arch, and you can feel the back muscles underneath activated. 9 more rounds on your own. Tuck the belly in, control, squeeze. Stretch the belly, tuck the tailbone, back and forth. This is lower abdominal, pelvic floor strengthening. Control nice and easy. Choose a breath. One way, we can inhale as we open, exhale as we tuck underneath. Nice and easy. Try not to have to pick up the hips with each one. Try to keep the back and the hips down, using the muscles to rotate back and forth. Feet are relaxed, down on the mat, still having stability. Try to relax the shoulders, the neck, the head. Just the lower region. We're separating the body parts here. Think about the muscles in the Mula Bandha. Activate and squeeze this area. When we're moving our muscles, we need to think about it sometimes, especially if it's a new motion. You might feel your lower back or your lower abdominals a little more tired right now, or activated, warm. Control as we finish our last round and come back to center. And let the knees fall side to side, shake out the lower back. Come back to center. Now place the feet firmly down into the mat, knees over ankles once again, big toes and heels pressing down. Tuck the belly once again into the spine, the belly button. Pubic bone follows the belly button, and tailbone follows the pubic bone, flattening out the lower back. I'm going to raise my arms overhead as I pick the hips up for my breathing bridge. Arms reach overhead, pressing through the feet, activating hamstrings, glutes, and lower back. As I exhale, slowly lower arms down by the hips and hips down to the floor. Activate the core, pelvic tilt, anterior tilt first, posterior tilt first, and activate all the way up. Come back to center. While I'm activating the bridge, first tuck the tailbone, then raise. Squeeze the posterior. Think about squeezing the muscles in between the thighs, the adductors. Activate the pelvic floor as I'm up. Mula Bandha, nice and tight. So I'm active in this bridge versus an inactive bridge where I might sit in my joints a little more. Continue to press the big toe and the foot down into the earth as you raise. Squeeze the posterior muscles. Squeeze the inner thighs, 2 more rounds. Also increasing activation, opening up the lats, the region by the shoulders. 1 last round. Come back to center. Once again, windshield wiper back and forth, relax the back. Relax the legs back to center. Bring both hands up into the sky for wrist rotations in one direction Pause, switch circles in the other direction. Interlace both hands, make little figure eights with the wrists. Switch directions. And press by reversing the grip, palms now to the ceiling, up, stretching the backs of the fingers. And reverse, now bringing left fingertips together, making a tulip type of shape, bring them down to the wrist, right hand comes to the left and stretches the forearm or the back side of the wrist. Gently release the left hand, bring right hand together, fingertips together in your tulip shape, pressing the hand down, stretching the back side of the wrist. Gently release, shake it out, and lay them firmly down on the mat. Place right heel on left knee or cross it just over the top of the thigh that's right above the knee. We're doing a little movement figure four. So you can keep your left foot down into the mat and bring side to side. You want to change the stretch, pick the left foot up, and you're going to find an area that might be a little stickier for this right hip as we're stretching. So we're stretching muscles on the inside of the hip. One of the main ones we hear more commonly is the piriformis. And this stretches from the femur to the pelvic girdle. Back and forth, one more time. Place the left foot down on the mat and bring your calf to the top of the left knee. Rotate the right ankle in one direction. Relax the neck, the shoulders. Pause and switch directions with the ankle. And pause and bring the right foot down. Cross the left heel on top of right knee or on the thigh. Press the knee out. Swing the right foot side to side, rotating the legs internally and externally. This gets a little hip flow, movement with the lower spine, and we're opening up the left hip. You can put the foot off the ground if wanted. One more time. Place the right foot down upon the mat, left calf on right knee. Rotate the left ankle one direction. Pause and switch directions. And bring the foot off the knee. Making an L shape, bring both feet into the sky. If you're a little tight in the hamstrings, you can bend the knees slightly. You can also place a blanket underneath the back, the shoulders, and the neck if needed. Make sure the neck isn't too high with a block, anything else hurting that cervical spine. So lay nice and flat. We're going to do our pelvic floor V's. Dorsiflex the feet, which means pull back to the shins. Plantar flexions, pointing our toes up to the sky. So dorsiflex back. Straighten those hamstrings up as much as they'll straighten right now. It might be a little tight. Place the hands on top of the glutes or next to you on the mat. Squeeze the quadriceps on the front of the thighs, tightening the legs. Help stretch the hamstrings straight as well. Open the legs as far as comfortable and coming back. Keeping the legs straight, feet dorsiflex. Use the adductors and abductors is outside of the body. Adductors are the inside. Adductions when we add or come towards the body. Abductions away from the body. Squeeze the belly button to the spine. Activate the pelvic floor muscles. They control this motion in the hips as well. Think of the mula bandha, the area by the perineum, squeezing. Breathe while we're doing this movement. We don't need to hold our breath. And continue to pull the abdominals in towards, making a nice belt. Everything comes towards the spine. We have a few more of these. Just breathe, control the legs. Think about the blood flow coming to the legs and the hips right now. This will help warm this region. 3 more. And bend both knees and bring back down to the mat, or you can hug the knees if you need to and shift side to side. Straighten out both legs down on the mat. With our left leg only focusing on, we're going to do 5 rounds of quad sets. What quad sets are, they're tightening or strengthening the muscles around the quadricep. We have 3 main. Rectus femoris in the middle, our VMO, our vastus medialis, and then we have our adductors laying underneath it. And then we have our vastus lateralis on the outside. So with our 3 main quadriceps, they help control that kneecap. They also help with the flexion in the hip. If our quadriceps get tired, our hip flexors really have to do a lot of work in our pelvic floor region. So we want to keep all of these muscles in here strong. So 5 isometric contractions. Dorsiflex the left foot up to the ceiling. Squeeze the 3 main quadricep muscles. Try to relax the hamstring, the muscles on the backside. Gently release. Squeeze. You might feel your glute muscles slightly squeeze as well. You can choose to relax them and focus only on the quads, or you can tighten the glute muscles even more. Either way, relax. 3 more rounds. Squeeze, contract, control the pelvic floor by squeezing the muscles in this region. Relax. Squeeze. Relax. 1 more round. Squeeze. Relax. Placing right hand on the right hip. Left hand either next to the body or can be controlled on the left hip. Raise the left leg halfway up towards the sky. Rotate to the outside and down and around. For our hip rotations, you can make littler circles higher in the sky, or you can big, huge circles, whatever feels best for your hip. Continue to try to straighten by squeezing the quadricep muscles. Bring blood flow to the hip region. Pause and switch directions. Our first motion was more of an external rotation, going to the outside first. This rotation is going to the inside for some internal rotation. Pause and bring the leg down. Switching sides. Right leg quad contractions first. Dorsiflex the right foot. Relax the left leg. Squeeze the quadriceps. Slightly squeeze the glute muscles if wanted. Relax. Squeeze the quadricep. Tighten the quads around the knee and around the hip region. Relax. Squeeze. Relax. 2 more times. Squeeze. A little longer this time. Continue to breathe. As you hold the contraction, you're still breathing. Relax. 1 more round. Squeeze. Relax. Place left hand on left hip. Right hand next to the body or on the right hip. Inhale as we lift the leg up towards the ceiling, squeezing the quads. Come to the outside. Continue to breathe nice and steady. Your circle can be high or low, big or small. Rotating around. If you feel like your hip is popping too much, try to bend the knee and see if this helps take some of the pops out. The long lever length and also angle of your rotations might be just letting some of the tendons or ligaments pop over each other. Pause and switch directions. One more rotation. And place the leg gently down into the mat. Just relax the body. You can shake out the hips. Relax the hip flexors for a moment. Turn onto the left side. And if you turn onto your right, it's okay. We'll do both sides. Place your arm underneath your head upright, or you can lay the head down on the forearm. If you have a block hand, you can also rest on a block. We're going to activate our glute muscles and the muscles around our hip. This top part of our hip where the bone goes in, this is our greater trochanter area where the femur bone comes into the hip socket. So muscles around this region as well as the glute muscles on this back side of our bottom. We still activate our core, the whole bottom side, obliques, internal pelvic floor, and even our abductors are activated during these exercises. First one's leg raises. Bottom leg can be straight or slightly bent. Top leg is what we're working the most. Dorsiflex your foot in, so your right foot is dorsiflexed in towards the shin. My heel wants to be level with the toes or slightly higher. I can keep my right hand in front of the body on the hip, along the legs, whatever is comfortable for me. Raise your right hip to where you're comfortable with keeping heel and foot level. If I turn open, I no longer am working glutes. This becomes a quad exercise. We'll do our quads later on today, so let's work on focusing those glutes today. So lean forward, stay parallel, and get the hips working. Coming down, up and down. You can lay flat or you can use a little stability with the right arm on the mat. Pay attention to how high your heel is going. You want it above the toes or level. Once the toes start creeping forward and you can feel the difference and play with it, you're really going to feel the outer and mid quad taking over along with those hip flexors. Right now you might feel it right on the back of the high glute med, the glute medius. There's three main glute muscles: the glute med, glute max, which is the big part, and internally the glute minimus. One more rotation and bring down. Now for bikes, keep the foot dorsiflexed. Bend the knee and bring it towards the chest like you're pedaling a bike. Go down and around. It's control. This isn't a fast, we're not trying to race with our bike. We're trying to get the most out of each rotation for these muscles. Continue to squeeze the belly towards the spine and activate this lower region pelvic floor, which will help with stability so your bicycle isn't moving all over the ground. You might feel the hips burning a little more now. The blood flow, the muscle activation, a little fatigue happening. You might say, wow, I can feel something in my bottom leg as well. What's going on? It's just laying there. Well, it's stabilizing. Come back to center. We have one more, forward and back. If you need to do a little stretch, so if this is feeling tight and crampy, roll over, move the leg in and out, and come back. A few rotations usually help alleviate any of that tightness. For our forward and back, straighten the right leg, dorsiflex the foot. Bring the right leg forward about 90 degrees from the body. Bring it back in a reasonable distance where you're not opening up and manipulating the body posture. So it's whatever you're comfortable with, where the glutes will let you go back. For me, it's not that far. We're talking 6 to 12 inches. For some, it might be a little further. I don't need to overarch the back. Keep the spine at neutral, whatever the glutes can open up the front with, and then control back. Let's go 3 more rotations, back and forth. Relax the body down, control the core, control the glutes, and try to keep the top leg straight. All right, come back to center. Relax the leg, open it up, and close. One more rotation of clamshell, open it up, and close. Bend the quad, bend the knee. We're going to stretch the front of the quad. So the knee comes, or the heel comes towards the glutes, and then I can open up. If I keep my heel away from my glutes, I'll show you on my belly. Then it only becomes a hip stretch. I need to shorten this angle, so I increase the angle of the knee as much as possible to stretch the quadricep. Nice and easy. Stretch. Good. Release the quad. Separate the feet so the top leg is in front of the back. I'm on the sides of my feet. Come into a side plank position. Shoulder over over elbow, or you can come onto the hand all the way up. Shoulder still stacks over wrist. Nice straight line with the torso. If I'm leaning forward in this position, I'm no longer in my side plank, and it's harder on the back in this position. So really open up the body. The hand can stay in either place as we start. If you need some support, bring the bottom knee down, stretch the top leg out, still have my nice side angle. Good. Hold for one more breath. Wonderful. Rotate the arm nice and big, one direction. Pause and switch directions. If you feel like you want more work, straighten out both legs. Reach up for the ceiling. Raise the top leg off the ground. Dorsiflex. Squeeze the quadriceps, just like our leg raises. Squeeze the glutes. The belly comes into the spine, and you can feel everything on the bottom side of the body working. Reach to the ceiling. Activate the shoulder in the bottom, so I'm not letting in my shoulder joint. Bend the right knee, like I'm doing my quadriceps stretch again. Heel comes towards the glutes. Right hand comes to the right foot. And then open up the back torso, like a modified dancer's pose or sugar cane. Open up nice and big, balance. Gently release the foot, reaching up to the ceiling, and pivot everything down into my front plank. Holding nice and strong. We're going to hold for 5 breaths. If you need to come down on 2 knees or 1 knee, you can do either one. Continue to have the shoulders stacked over elbows, stacked over wrists. Breathe nice and deep. One more breath. From here, pivot onto both feet. Slide the right hand underneath the body into the right side plank. I'm going to switch sides on the mat. You can bring forearm down to the mat and knee down if needed. So many modifications, whichever you might want. Any of those positions, holding our side plank to start. Continue to pull the belly in towards the spine. Open up the chest and stack the arms. One more breath in our side plank and add the arm circles now. So a little element. Add more work, straighten both legs. Pause and switch directions. And come back to center. Raise the top leg up, equal with the body height. Dorsiflex the left foot back, squeezing the left quad. The right leg can be down on the ground, or it can be straight in the same position for more work, whichever's in your practice. Bend left heel towards left glutes. Use the left hand to grab the left foot. Open up that body on the front side. Release the foot, release the hands, and find your way down to the mat to finish with our glutes on this left side. You can place head down or support underneath the hands. Starting with our leg raises. Dorsiflex the left foot, halfway up, halfway down. Foot is level with the heel, or heel is higher than those toes. Either one. Up and down. Feel this work the glutes, area around the pelvic floor, greater trochanter. Up and down. Control your speed. Let the glutes do the work. If you feel like you're leaning back too far and the hip flexors are taking over, lean forward. Support yourself on the left hand and really raise the left heel up. Let's go 2 more. Bicycles are next. Dorsiflex the left toe, knee to chest, down and around. Support the bicycles with the core. Almost there, good job. And last one, forward and back. Dorsiflex, leg is straight once again. Forward and back. Forward and back. Control the spine. Let the glutes do the work in the back. Keep the hamstrings, the quadriceps nice and tight. Core is actively functioning. Back to center. Go ahead and shake out the legs and come onto the belly. Forearms down. Stretch the front side in our sphinx. Shoulders stacked over the elbows. You can come into a lower cobra or an extended cobra for a little more deepening stretch in that psoas in the front side of the belly. Bring arms back down to the forearms. Tuck the toes underneath. Press onto the knees and then up into our dolphin position. Raising those hips nice and high. Find yourself back at the front plank. 2 core exercises in this plank position. First one is knees to the side. Raising each knee coming out to the side, trying to stay nice and level. If you need to double up the mat underneath the elbows and forearms, go ahead and do so. Almost there. Come back to center. Now from here, moving the arms. Reaching one hand, coming back. Reaching the other hand. Keep the hips level. You need to step to the outsides of the mat. Still keep the hips level. Reach, come back. Reach, come back. Try not to pop the reaching hand hip up. Keep it nice and level, so squeeze the core, the muscles underneath to keep it level. Come back to center and push back up to dolphin. For me, I shorten my steps just a little in dolphin to raise the hips up and back. Bring both knees down. Slide forward, Anahata Asana, stretching the front side of the body, chin and chest to the ground. Looking through the hands or down at the mat. One more breath. Slide all the way forward. Slide all the way forward into your cobra or sphinx. Squeeze the shoulders down. Relax the body down, hands by the chest, push back toward child's. Big toes together, separate the knees, head down to the mat. Massage the head down. Open up the lats. This opens up the lymphatic system in the body. Helps with detox. Reach the hands forward and come into a high plank this round. High puppy. Nice and high. Tuck the toes. Shoulders are over the wrists. If you need to come down to the knees or down to one knee, you're more than welcome to do so. So staying nice and high. This time we're going to raise our legs. Bringing the left leg off the mat, 6 to 12 inches. Returning. Right leg. Left leg. Right leg. Left leg. Right leg. One more time. Each leg. Back to center. And now crossing opposite knee to opposite elbow. Rotating. Coming back, rotating. Each side. You can straighten the leg and kick if you would like. One more each side. Come back to the hands, knees down. Slide back to child's pose. You can bend both arms and roll the wrists. If you feel like you're closing down on the oxygen, you can come into your hero's pose, sitting on the heels, thunderbolt, nice and tall. Continue to roll the wrists and catch the breath. One more round of breath. Come back to center. Reach both hands forward, high plank and pushing up into your downward dog. Bend both knees and pedal the feet, stretching out the hamstrings, the calves. Your body might already feel warm in the hips and the hamstring region from all of our glute work and warm-up work we've done with the pelvis. Lift the hips up and back as you press the heels closer to the mat. Raise the belly in and up. Squeeze the biceps towards the ears and triceps to the outside. Relax the neck. Look forward. Step to the hands, inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen and strengthen this part of the lower back. Exhale, drop the head, hinge the hips to the forward fold. Bend the knees, inhale all the way up. Bring the hands down by the sides. Take 2 breaths in Samastitihi. Just come back to your center. Inhale, both hands up. Drop the left hand behind the back, stretching the triceps. Right hand comes to the elbow and pulls the hands over just a little bit. From the back, you can see the tricep, the back of the upper arm being stretched. I'm mirroring you from the front. Release both hands and switch. Right arm down, left arm stretches. Release the arms, bring them down to 90. Cross the left arm over the right towards the elbow. Right arm slides down, supporting the elbow, and raises up. We're stretching the back side of the shoulder, this region right in here. If we're too low, we can't stretch this area, so keep the arm right below the chin. Gently release, and come back to the other side. Back side of the arm once again. Release both arms and bring them down, interlacing behind your back. Bring both hands down to the right glute. Turn the chin down to the chest, and then up towards the left side, stretching the left side of the neck. This will get your trap, your sternocleidomastoid. Continue to press the left shoulder down towards the earth, opens up the left side of the neck. Release, switch directions with the hands to the left side of the glutes. Pull the right shoulder down, tilt the chin to chest, and then chin up towards the right side. This opens the back, left, right side of the neck. Continue to breathe, nice and easy. And gently release, coming back to center once again. From here, inhale up nice and big. Exhale, interlace the hands behind the back. Pull them down towards the glutes as we forward fold, open up into our double angel. Let the arms open up, stretching the chest after all those planks. Can tilt the head and our nose. And shake it, yes, just let it go. Drop the hands to the hips. Bring the hands closer to the mat. They do not need to touch. And step back with the right foot into a low lunge. We're going to use our core strength. Hover our hands from the mat. My core is not laying on my leg. Lift the belly off the hips. Stretch the spine. So from foot through the crown of the head, the energy goes up. Good. One more breath. Control the core nice and high. Bring hands to heart center, pressing up. Bend the back knee if needed. Keep the the left knee still bent at 90. Inhaling, exhale, twist towards the front left knee. Actively press your heel, straightening out the back leg. If you need to, bring the back knee towards the mat. Come back to center. Place both hands down into the mat. Step back to downward dog. Pedal both feet. Press both feet and hands into the mat, lifting the hips up and back. Stretch through the abdominals, through the rib cage, through the lats. Open up the armpits. Let the head go. Firm up the triceps. Relax. Look to the hands. Step together into our halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Lengthen the spine. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, reverse all the way up to the ceiling, upward salute. One breath, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands up once again. Exhale, interlace the hands behind the back into our double angel, stretching the chest. You can go with your non-dominant lacing if you would like to stretch the shoulders slightly different. 2 breaths. Let the head go and hinge at the hip, lifting the hamstrings. Think up and back to the back wall of the hips. Bring hands to the back, cover them from the ground. Step back with the left foot this time into our low lunge. Use the core, so stretch, leaning forward. If you need to bring the foot to the back, you can. 2 more breaths. Actively press the back heel to the ground, straightening out the back leg. Come up, bringing hands to heart center. Inhale, exhale, twist to the front leg, nice and high. Keep the front knee tracking forward over the front toes. Back foot remains forward as well. Only the torso and shoulders and head are rotated. Come back to center, hands down to the mat. Step back to your downward dog. 3 breaths. Inhale, hips up and back. Inhale, belly up and in. And bend the knees a little. Straighten them as you lift the hamstrings up and back even more, stretching through not only hamstrings, but shoulders as well. Look forward. Step to the hands. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Grab opposite elbows and let the body ragdoll or swing back and forth like an elephant. Relax. Release the hands, bend the knees. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, Samasthiti, and take a couple breaths. Standing nice and tall, spread the feet wide on the mat. Coming into our star pose, nice and high. Bring elbows back to the knees. Raise the heels if it's in your practice. Lower yourself halfway. Bring right elbow to right knee. Use the core strength. We're not dumping our weight on the right. Core keeps us upright. And return. Left elbow, left knee. And return. Up and heels come down. Bring the hands down to the side. Walk the feet underneath the hips. Bring arms back towards the ears once again. Bringing knee all the way up to elbow this time towards the armpits. Opposite knee comes to opposite elbow and back down. I don't want to bring my body down. My leg has to come up. Keep the body, the torso upright. I'm not bringing my head down. Hands are by the ears, not interlaced or pulling on the neck. You can add a little twist with the leg if you want. Squeeze the abdominals. This is standing abdominal work, hip flexor work. 3 more each side. There we go. Nice. Continue to drive. Use the muscles in the lower body, the hips, the lower abs to raise the knees. And come down. Shake out the arms. Shake out the legs. We have 1 more. Separate the feet. Toes just outside hip distance. We come down into our squat position. Weight goes onto the heels. Hips go back. Hinge at the knee and the waist. Hands are going to come to heart center and interlace the fingers. I'm halfway down. Punch the hands out and come back. Punch out, come back. Punch out, come back. Isometric, come back. Squeeze with the arms. Good. Isometric with the legs. Now come down all the way. Come in. I'm going to come halfway when I punch. Come down. Half, down, half, down. Don't fall. Control it. Good. Almost there. One more. Up, down to halfway. Up, halfway. Up, halfway. Good, almost there. Two more. And come back down. Excellent job. Shake it out. There we go. Bring those feet close to each other, right underneath the hips once again. Standing nice and tall, we're going to come into our tree pose. Place the right foot down into the mat. Left foot can kickstand at the calf or come as high as you're comfortable, opening up that external rotation with the left hip. Hands come to heart center. Catch the breath. When you're ready, inhale, grow the branches. Use the core to balance the center of gravity. Use the glutes, the adductors, to open up this left side. Nice and tall, shoulder blades back. Find something on the ground, not moving. One more breath. Bring hands to heart center. Down, lower the leg and shake it out. Switching side, left leg down into the mat. Bring the left leg all the way, the right leg as high as you can, whichever you're comfortable with, and externally rotate. Torso and shoulders remain forward. Grow your branches when you're ready. Nice and high. Squeeze the core. Everything from the glutes to this mid-region to lengthen and protect the spine. Bring the hands back down to heart center. Lower the hands, lower the leg, and shake it out. Nice job. And step to the front of your mat. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Hinge at the hip. Let the head go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, step back into an all-four tabletop position. Shoulders are over wrists, hips are over knees, nice and flat, level back. Hips and shoulders are distance apart. Inhale, drop the belly, spread the collarbones for cow, stretch the belly. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, stretch between the shoulder blades in cat. One more time. Drop the belly, stretch the front side. Exhale, opposite direction. Come back to center. Stretch the right foot and back of the body, level hips to the mat, toes dorsiflex down, quadriceps squeezed around the knee, the glutes are activated. Stretch the left hand in opposite direction, holding for 3 breaths in our bird dog position. If you're struggling getting elbow or the biceps by the ear, circle around and bring it up. See if that helps. Come back down. Now stretch out the left leg, dorsiflex toes down to the mat. Hips are level, pull the left hip down to level out the hips. Once again, if you need to, circle the arm around, biceps by the ears. Come down to the mat, one more each side. Stretch and breathe. Now pull belly to the spine. We're not dipping. It's not about raising our leg high. It's about lengthening, protecting the spine. The internal muscles are working around the spine. Come back down. One more time. Stretch the opposite way. And come back down. Stretch out onto your belly, all the way down into our half locust pose. Arms are bent at 90. Head is forward. It's pretty boring. You stare down at the mat. We're going to lift opposites once again. Left knee raises off the ground as left chest and control down. Right chest, left knee. Back and forth. Inhale and exhale. Follow your breath for your half locust repetitions. If you would like a little more work, hover feet and hands off the mat and continue. Continue to breathe. Think about the neck as an extension of the spine. We don't want to hurt that extension. Keep it controlled, looking down at the mat. Raise the chest, raise the legs. The hamstrings, the glutes, and the lower back are doing a lot of the work. The erectors, the muscles running along the spine. One more each side. Come back down, rest a cheek. Windshield wiper, rock the hips side to side, either way. Gently release. Bring hands up, back to the tabletop, swinging the legs around into a seated position. Spreading both feet out. Dorsiflex toes into our straddle pose. Find the front side of the sit bone. Sometimes you have to pick the hips up and rock forward. If you find yourself posterior tilted back, grab a pillow or grab a blanket, place it underneath the hips, and they'll set you upright and take away some of the hamstring pressure. Sit nice and tall, interlace the hands in front of the body, lean back and activate the core. Slide to the right side, across the toes, and back, turn the middle. This is a core activation, isometric shoulder, and a dynamic hamstring stretch all together. You might feel your lower abs and hip flexors activated. All of those are active during this motion. Squeeze the mula bandha, the pelvic floor, middle. Continue to breathe. Inhale back, exhale forward. And you can go faster or you can go slower. Slower actually works the core even more. One more rotation in this direction. When you find yourself back at center, switch. Left first, then to right. Continue to keep the core nice and long. Move from the hips, not the waist or the shoulders. The waist area is considered more belly button or higher. One more rotation. Beautiful. Come back to center. Shake out those arms. Good. Bring the legs back in, butterfly position. Inhale and lengthen. Just a basic stretch for the inside of the legs. You can press down to stretch. You can press the elbows down, or you can remain nice and high and just lead with the chest. Whatever gets you the best inner inner groin stretch. Continue to breathe and keep the spine nice and long. Gently release back to center. Both legs come in, grab the knees, or place the hands in the back of the body, either one. Seated camel, just push the chest out, squeeze the shoulder blades together, or I can hang on to the knees and do the same thing for a baby back bend. And gently release. Bring both feet together for one round of boat. We're going to do 3 different arm motions in our boat posture, our core once again. Heels start down on the ground and we lengthen the spine. My hands can stay on the mat. I can take them off. I can have hands and raise the legs. I can take the arms off the floor and I can even straighten the legs. So any of the positions that's best for you for both. Activate your core wherever you're at. Arms, we're going to try to move. If you're here, stay there for the duration. Swim back and forth, left to right, both arms. Keep the long spine and core activated. Squeeze the triceps and shoulders. Now up and down. Swimming through the water. Try to swim under the legs. And swim over the legs. Can you swim to the left of the legs? And swim to the right of the legs? And come back up. And now arms at cactus arms. Butterfly, back and forth. It's like reading a newspaper, back and forth. Almost there. This one's one of the harder ones. Squeeze and come back. One more. All done. Roll onto the spine and come back to seated. Onto the spine and back to seated. And then onto the spine once again. Straighten out both legs. We have 3 core exercises before we come into our final poses. Cross the left leg over right. Reach the hands in front of the belly for our push the big wall, full sit-up. Push the ball all the way up to the ceiling. Lengthen the spine in our L-shaped position. Control down. Continue fast or slow. Breathe while you're doing the core. Find a good inhale up. Exhale. Good. Continue back and forth. If you're not able to sit all the way up, come as high as you can, shoulder blades off the ground, leading with the chest. Pull the abdominals in versus pushing out. One more. Come back to center. Bring hands down by the legs. Bend both knees. Bring both feet into the sky. L-shaped position once again. You can keep hands by the hips or slide them underneath the body. We're going to do a reverse crunch to start, which means bringing our hips off the ground, toes to the sky. Then bringing knees to the chest, sliding them out along the floor and up, making a circle. Reverse crunch, circle. Control with the core. It's not about swinging back. Nice and easy. There we go. One more rotation and switch directions. Come down first, knees to the chest, reverse crunch. Almost there. One more rotation. Go ahead and bring both knees down. Butterfly position. Let the legs flop out to the side. Place the hands by the ears. Butterfly pulses. Squeeze the belly to the spine. The hands can basket the head or be by the ears, but we don't want to pull on the neck. The chin stays up like a string is connected to the ceiling. 1, 2, 3. Control down. 1, 2, 3. Control down. Shoulder blades come off the ground, belly into the spine. Squeeze the floor of the pelvis. One more. And back down. Stretch both arms and legs down and shake it out. Bend right knee into the chest. Cross it over the body. Shoulders remain down on the mat. You can turn both arms out in your T shape if you would like. Turn your gaze to the right into our spinal twist. Gently release onto your back and straighten out. Switch by bringing the left leg into the chest and cross it over. As we exhale, shoulders remain on the ground. Turn your gaze to your left. Release onto your back. Prepare for Shavasana in our corpse pose. Stretch both legs out to the edges of the mat. Turn the toes and let them relax. Bring both hands away from the body, palms up. Relax down into the mat. Tuck the shoulders underneath. Lengthen the neck and place the head down. Once again, we'll start with our belly breath for 5 rounds. Inhale. Fill the belly. Fill the balloon nice and big. Exhale and relax. 4 more rounds, filling the belly each time, nice and big. The belly breath's a calming breath. It'll help us lower our heart rates, slow our breathing, and prepare us for our Shavasana. 2 more rounds. And return to your free, natural breath. We'll stay with our natural breath for 20 rounds of breath. Gently start to bring your awareness back. And start by wiggling the fingers and the toes. And stretch the body. Inhaling as you stretch from the fingers to the toes. A nice good morning stretch. Swing the hips back and forth, moving the knees, the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders. And reach your right hand overhead, sliding onto your right side. Tuck the knees into the chest, come into your fetal position. If you're pregnant, go ahead and go to the left. Take 3 more breaths in your fetal position before making your way to a comfortable seated position. In our seated position, now that we're there, sit nice and tall. We're going to do a 1-minute meditation, focusing on counting backwards. Starting at 1,000, we're going to count backwards by 7s. If you make a mistake, that's okay, just start over. If you get distracted, that's okay, just start over. On your next inhale, exhale, and begin. Return to your normal thoughts and stop counting. Before we close, take a minute to thank yourself for your core work you did today. Your body and your spine will appreciate you. Bring hands together, palming, warming, slide the hands back and forth. Massage the eyes, temple, or forehead. And wash the face, bringing the hands to heart center. Open the eyes, and we'll close class. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the core work. Feel a little better, a little happier. Core releases serotonin into our body, which fills us a little more joy, a little less anxiety. Enjoy and have a great day.